Hello and welcome to Theater Operations Unleashed, the monthly show that explores the ins and outs of theater operations, management, facilities, and design. I'm your host, Raymond Kent. In each episode, we will be focusing on management, operations, design, trends, and best practices in the performing arts. I hope to bring you both insights from my 4 decades in the industry, as well as engaging conversations with theater professionals about the challenges and rewards of their work. We'll also cover a wide range of topics from budgeting and scheduling to marketing and audience development, theater technology, and many other related topics. Whether you're a theater maker yourself or just interested in the industry, I hope you'll find this podcast informative and inspiring. So sit back, relax, or lean in, and let's dive into the world of theater. Welcome back. Today we are diving into a topic that most people don't think about until it fails them. That is signage, wayfinding, and the subtle art of helping people feel oriented, confident, and welcome the moment they walk into a performing arts venue. If you've ever walked into a lobby and felt instantly at ease, like the building was quietly guiding you, that wasn't an accident. And if you've ever walked into a lobby and felt lost, overwhelmed, or unsure where to go, that wasn't an accident either. Buildings speak. Some whisper. Some shout. Some mumble incoherently. Today we're talking about how to help them speak clearly, especially for people with disabilities, for the first-time visitors, for people navigating in a second language, and for anyone who just wants to get their seat without feeling like they're solving a puzzle. Why wayfinding matters more than we think? Well, let's start with the simple truth. A building that cannot be read is a building that excludes. An exclusion doesn't always look like a locked door or a missing ramp. Sometimes it looks like a sign mounted too high for a blind person to find, a typeface that looks elegant but is unreadable at 20 feet, a lobby so visibly noisy that the directional signs disappear in the background, a digital display that cycles through essential information so quickly that no one can catch it. A person with cognitive disabilities trying to decode 8 arrows pointing in different directions. Wayfinding is not decoration. It's not branding. It's not an afterthought. Wayfinding is environmental communication. It's the building's voice. And if we want performing arts spaces to be truly accessible, that voice has to be clear, consistent, and inclusive. So let's look at a real-world scenario. Let me paint you a picture. You're arriving at a theater for the first time, you're using a wheelchair, you have low vision, you have moderate hearing loss, you're 15 minutes from curtain. You find the accessible entrance, good start, but inside, the lobby is loud and visually chaotic. The signage blends into the decor. The typeface is stylish but illegible. There's no tactile information at hand height. There's no floor cue to guide you. The digital marquee is cycling through ads, donor messages, and event promos, but not the information you actually need. You're not even in the auditorium yet, and already the building is telling you you're on your own. This is the experience millions of people have every year, not because anyone intended to exclude them, but because wayfinding has never been designed with them in mind. The ADA is necessary, but it's not sufficient. The ADA gives us the technical baseline, such as tactical signs with raised characters and Braille, high contrasting lettering, signs mounted at consistent heights, pictograms with verbal labels, overhead signs with minimum character sizes based on viewing distance. These are all essential, but they're not enough. Again, they're the floor. We're looking for the ceiling. You can have a building full of technically compliant signs and still have a wayfinding system that fails its users. Why? Because compliance is not the same as communication. The ADA tells you what sign must be. It does not tell you how a person actually finds their way. Wayfinding is a system, not a collection of signs. Research from Remedi Pacini and others make this clear. People navigate using the entire environment, not just signs. That includes spatial layout, lighting, landmarks, acoustics, floor textures, color cues, staff positioning, and yes, signage. But signage that works with the environment, not against it. A good wayfinding system is like a good stage manager. You don't notice it when it's doing its job well. So, what are some decision points where people actually need help? Wayfinding succeeds or fails at these decision points, the moments where a person must choose a direction. In a performing arts venue, these are predictable: the accessible entrance, the main lobby junction, the box office, the elevator lobby, the restroom corridor, auditorium entrance, the seating section split. All of these points, people need clear visual cues, tactile cues, logical spatial cues, and ideally, redundancy, because not everyone navigates the same way. If a sign is beautiful but unreadable, it's not a sign. If a sign is compliant but invisible in context, it's not a sign. If a sign is technically correct but placed after the decision point, it's not a sign, it's wall art. The unsung hero of accessibility is consistency. Consistency is one of the most powerful accessibility tools we have. When signs use the same typeface, the same color palette, the same mounting height, the same placement relative to doors, the same pictograms, the same logic, people learn the system intuitively. When signs are inconsistent, every new sign becomes a new puzzle. For people with cognitive disabilities, dementia, autism, or anxiety, inconsistency is not just inconvenient, it's disabling. In many countries, tactile floor indicators are standard. In the US, they're rare outside of transit systems, but tactile cues are powerful. Ribbed tiles that guide direction, dotted tiles that signal stop or a decision point, floor texture changes that help blind patrons follow a route independently. Imagine a performing arts venue where a blind patron can enter, find the box office, locate the elevator, and reach their seat all through tactile cues. That's not futuristic. It's standard practice in Japan, Australia, and much of Europe. We can do this too. So let's look at digital wayfinding. This is a whole new frontier here. Digital tools are transformative navigation, interactive kiosks, indoor navigation apps, Bluetooth beacon systems. We talked in the previous episode about Auracast. You can implement that into a digital wayfinding system. QR-based audio guides, real-time digital signage. But digital signage accessibility requires discipline, high contrast, large text, slow content pacing, permanent zones for essential information, audio output for blind users. How about touch targets large enough for people with motor disabilities? A digital sign that cycles through 12 messages is not accessible. A kiosk without audio output is not accessible. A navigation app without clear audio cues is not accessible. Technology doesn't solve accessibility. Accessible technology solves accessibility. Cognitive accessibility is often or ignored dimension of this. Cognitive accessibility is not about simplifying everything. It's about removing unnecessary complexity. That means plain language, short sentences, clear verbs, no jargon. And in theater, we love our jargon, no theatrical vocabulary that only insiders understand. Some of your patrons have never been to the theater before. They might not know the language. No 8-arrow signs. No clever signage that sacrifices clarity for style. A sign that says restrooms with an arrow is better than a sign that says facilities. A sign that says elevator is better than vertical transport. Clarity is not condensation. Clarity is inclusion. And let's talk about emergency communication when wayfinding becomes safety. Emergency systems must communicate across multiple sensory channels: audible alarms, visual strobes, text displays, tactile cues, staff trained to assist patrons with disabilities. A deaf person must know there's an emergency. A blind person must know where to go. A person with cognitive disabilities must receive clear, calm, actionable instructions. Emergency communication is not a separate system. It's the ultimate test of the wayfinding system. I was in a meeting the other day with a client, and we were actually talking about this. Having a balcony with a lot of wheelchair positions, but the people who are in those positions not knowing where an area of refuge may be should there be a case of an emergency, that's an issue. So clear communication to those patrons and through signage and wayfinding is incredibly important and could be life-saving. So let's talk about the part everyone forgets. The best designed wayfinding system can be destroyed by temporary signs taped to walls. Sometimes tape doesn't stick, it falls down. Stanchions blocking tactile paths. How about seasonal decor covering up directional signs? digital screens repurposed for advertising instead of what they were intended for, or staff who simply don't know where things are, furniture that migrates in the circulation paths. Wayfinding is not a one-time design task. It's a living system that requires maintenance, training, and stewardship. So let's again talk about the building's voice. When we design signage and wayfinding well, something really beautiful happens. People stop thinking about the building. They stop worrying where to go. They stop feeling anxious or lost or overwhelmed. They simply arrive. They move. They find their seat. They enjoy the art. That's the point. Wayfinding is hospitality. Wayfinding is dignity. And wayfinding is access. A building that clearly speaks is a building that welcomes everyone. And in the performing arts, where our mission is to bring people together, that clarity is not optional, it's essential. So let's continue to design buildings that welcome everyone. Thanks for taking the time today to listening to Theater Operations Unleashed. We hope to see you next month.